Now, before I start, I'd just like to say that this particular topic is something that, other than my close immediate family and very close friends, I've never spoken about. So if we could just keep it between us, I'd appreciate it. It's a story of the worst decision of my life and how it led to the event that not only saved my life, but changed it forever. In 1997, I was a primary caretaker for my mother, who at that point had had about 14 heart attacks. She would have heart attacks like, we change our shirts. But a couple of years prior, I had lost my father and my brother in the same year. This is what left me as the primary caretaker for her. And one night I woke up, she had an alarm on her bed. Whenever she was having a problem, she would ring this alarm. And I heard it going off, and I came upstairs. Now, at the time, I was taking care of her during the day, and I'd hired someone to take care of her at night. Well, when I come up the stairs that night, the person I had hired to take care of her was asleep on my couch, for which I wanted to strangle her to death, but my mother needed me first. So I took care of my mother, and at that point, that was when I made the worst decision of my life, and that was that I wasn't going to sleep anymore. I just wasn't. It wasn't going to happen again. So, of course, how do you not sleep ever again? Drugs. So I started very, mildly, as everyone does. They don't think, they say, oh, I have perfect self-control. I can just do a little bit of this particular thing, and it won't bother me. I can stop it anytime I want. Well, in 97, she passed away, my mom, and all my life I had always just wanted to have money. Like just win the lottery or have a distant aunt leave me money or something, Well, you got to be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And that year, I got it. I inherited $500,000 when my mother passed. And it was great. I had a 2-family house and a custom Tahoe and a boat, and I owned everything. I even had a monster truck, okay? And it was great. I mean, in the beginning, you're doing a little of this particular drug, and I would go out during the day, and I'd seem like a normal person. I'd go out on my boat. I'd hang out with my friends. But unlike them, when they would go home and sleep at night, I would go home and smoke crack, and I would stay awake. And sometimes I would stay awake they used to have those Glade 44-hour candles. One time I watched 2 of them burn, just to make sure that they would burn for 44 hours like they said. And FYI, they do. Good product. But after 88 hours of being conscious with, intermittent 5-minute dozings off, and, most of the time I would drop the remote from the TV out of my hand, it would wake me back up, you start getting a little crazy, not just from the drugs, but from the not sleeping. I would hear people talking in the TV, and I could swear they were talking about me. Like, he's doing another one. We're coming up outside. You get crazy. You get paranoid. And it got really bad. I went through the house and the cars and the $500,000. And for the longest time, I kept it a secret. No one knew. I mean, all my closest friends didn't know. I would go to weddings. I would, go all over the place, and they just didn't know. They didn't know that every other minute that I wasn't in their view, I was doing this particular drug. And it got to the point where one day I had woke up from a short nap, and I couldn't open my eyes. I mean, they just wouldn't open. I could pull them open, but as soon as I let go, they'd shut. I couldn't get myself to come conscious. And so I opened my eye, and I put some of the drug on my pipe. And as I started smoking it, my eyes opened like automatic shutters. And I thought, you've got a little bit of a problem. And then, of course, when I lost the house was when finally people started finding out, because I had to do it somewhere other than my home. Most people attributed it prior to that to depression. I had lost my family all in 3 years. I had had a debilitating accident at work where I couldn't work anymore. So they just didn't really think it was anything serious. And then I started having to do things more in public. And that's when people started finding out. And I'll tell you, you really know who your real friends are when that happens, because a lot of my longtime friends who I really thought I could count on just turned their back on me. I had one particular person that I had lent $20,000 to him and his wife to start a business, and they were paying me pretty regularly, and then when they found out about that, they decided, well, he's not worthy of our money anymore. I know he lent it to us, but we're not going to pay him back. And they just stopped paying me, and I thought, wouldn't that be nice if you could do that with like your mortgage? The bank I'm working with doesn't do the proper things with its money. I'm just not going to pay my mortgage anymore. Well, so they stopped paying me, and it came to a point where I only had a few friends. They were people I would not ever have associated with before that. I will not associate now. And, it's something that if you think someone has this problem, talk to them. I don't know if they'll listen, but if they do come out of it, they'll really appreciate that you tried, because no one in my life tried. And finally, it came to the event that saved my life, and that was a heart attack. And to this day, I thank God every day for that heart attack, because without it, I don't know where I'd be. And I've spoken to some people who've had this addiction, and they've told me, oh yeah, I had a heart attack. And then, I said, but I've seen you high. And they go, oh yeah, well, I didn't do it for a couple of months. And I said, well, okay, you didn't have the heart attack I had, okay? Because I saw God in the white light, and I don't know why anyone would ever try and do that again. So talk to these people, and thank God that I had that heart attack, and it truly saved my life. And it taught me now that the people who are in my life now, I don't have anything to give them. I've spent all my money. I've spent everything. I'm on a fixed income because of the accident at work. So the people who are in my life now, they're only there because they want to be my friend. And those people are the most important people in your life, the ones who don't want anything from you, that just want to be around you because of who you are. And cherish those people. Thank you.